Welcome to the Equip Podcast. Here you'll find conversations from people of all different walks of life, sharing their experiences, the things the Lord has taught them, and things to equip you. Equip is based on Ephesians 4:11-13 that talks about equipping God's people for works of service so that the body of Christ may be built up. That is our goal here, to build you up and equip you through seasons of ups and downs in life. Welcome back to the Equip Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Gibson, and today I'm joined by Jeanine Grimes. Jeanine is married to Robert, and they have taught Financial Peace University for 20 years. I asked her to join today to share some helpful strategies for budgeting and planning ahead for holiday spending. Welcome, Jeanine.
I am so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, it's going to be a fun conversation.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, one thing I have noticed more, and I think this is probably something with my generation, is a lack of care or even awareness around debt. So to start, can you share why it might be concerning to have debt and any scripture that talks about this?
Sure. Scripture is chock full of just advice and just how debt affects our lives in negative ways. Never anything positive. So most of our education, especially for young people nowadays, have come from on finances has come from social media, TikTok, Facebook, any of those. In high school, they get education on finances, mostly sponsored by, believe it or not, big banks.
The people that want to make money.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And even from the big banks themselves, there's a lot, TV commercials all over, everywhere. Sadly enough, not enough of it comes from home or even from the church. Yeah. And that's really sad. And that's one reason, that's the main reason that my husband and I have taught Financial Peace University for this long, because it's curriculum that's biblical based and just has grandma's and God's way of managing money. That's good. So Proverbs is full of financial advice and guidelines. So 31 chapters in Proverbs. If you read one proverb every day for an entire month, you would have a master's degree in finance by the time you got done with it. Simply from what God says about our finances. And it's really crazy, but Proverbs deals with two huge things, rearing children and managing our finances. So, and they're all side by side throughout the book. In Proverbs 6 and 7, it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender." Yep. It's really strikes me that those two verses are one right with another, and it goes like that throughout the entire book. So, so God is telling us there in no uncertain terms that debt is bad for anything and everything. Now, one thing that we teach, that Dave Ramsey teaches in Financial Peace University, that a mortgage on a home would be a good debt to have if you must have it. We had one for a lot of years. Back in 2012, we became debt-free, totally debt-free, paid off the house and everything. And it was really fun because we were in the middle of a class when we paid off the house, and the class celebrated with us paying off our mortgage. So we have been totally debt-free for 12 to 25, so 13 years now. Yeah. And it is a life like no other.
Yes. Just the freedom you have.
Exactly. It frees up a lot. You don't realize right in the beginning, but as time goes on, you begin to realize those things and how much it frees up your finances and frees you up to do so many things like giving generously and enjoying life as well.
Yeah.
So I think the thing that gets us into trouble more than anything at all is not paying attention to what we do. Just kind of going along with life, just willy-nilly, just not paying attention, and we end up in a place that we don't want to be. So we take borrowing for simple little things like, oh, well, it's just that.
Yes. Well, vacations I think about, and then all the new technology. I saw a sign advertising a payment plan for an Apple Watch. And it's like, oh, $10 a month. That's not a big deal. But then when you start thinking about, okay, maybe it's not necessarily the wisest stewardship of my finances to be on payment plans for all these things, owing money for all these things. It's really interesting once you really dig into it.
It is. And you have to really watch for these things because a free, quote unquote, iPhone on a plan is not free because those payments are built into that phone plan every month. An example, my sweet neighbor, whom I love, very astute in finances. He has a business degree, that kind of thing, ended up in a plan that his phone gave out on him. He had it for years, and it's time to get a new one. So he went and got a new plan, and they said, oh, have we got a deal for you? Well, he was up at my house on Saturday and said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Because my bill just tripled, and he's a missionary. He's not, his income is not huge, although he draws from his retirement and that kind of thing. He's like, and he says, well, I have 30 days. I think I'll take the phone back and cancel the plan. And that's what he has done. And then he just bought a phone outright.
Well, and there's so much pressure.
Things.
Yes, there's so much pressure to keep up, especially in the social media era that we live in. There's just so much comparison, and well, they're going on these cool vacations and they're getting to do these things and they're getting this new stuff. And, that's one thing I want to talk about with holidays, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but so much with the holiday season and even with gifts for our kids is the comparison of, well, they got really cool stuff and we can only afford so much. I mean, it's a hard, you have to really draw a line in the sand of, I don't care what other people think, I'm going to do what the Lord has called me to do and steward my finances well. Yeah. If someone is new to budgeting, where should they start?
We should start with knowing how much we make. Can we tackle student debt loan real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
So in the whole debt arena, student debt loan is one of the biggest shackles that we put on ourselves because we think college education is our way to big finances and making a lot of money and that kind of thing, and it's not always that way. So the average student that begins, whether they graduate or not, with an undergrad degree, comes out of college with an average of $30,000 to $50,000 in school debt.
Wow.
So if you go on to a graduate degree, even a doctorate degree, you can count on, if you rely on student loans, you can count on $100,000 to $250,000 in student loans. People are doing this without student loans, and it's or just not going to college at all because you can do a lot of things without a college degree. And this is what is hamstringing our youth because they don't realize, or they don't care, or they don't pay attention, which is, a lot of it is not paying attention to the fact that whether you finish or not, no matter what job you get, what your income is or whatever, 6 months after you quit school or you graduate from school with or without a degree, whatever, those payments start.
Yep.
And there's ways out of it, ways to delay it and not make those payments. but it doesn't stop the interest from accruing and building over time. So a $30,000 school bill at the end of your career, whether you your school career, whether you finish or not, can quickly turn into $50,000 to $60,000 in school debt. And this is something that we've got to educate our young people on and keep them from doing.
Yeah.
One thing that I told my kids when I was working at TJC, do everything you can with scholarships. And there are millions and millions and millions of dollars every year that go untapped for scholarships that these kids don't know that's out there. You have to do a little bit of work to get them, but you can pay for school with scholarships and working.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't hurt you to work. Mom and Dad, get on it. And let's end this school debt thing. It's crippling.
Yes, it is.
The next generation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's good. I appreciate the stats on that too.
So, yeah.
That's great. Well, let's talk about budgets.
Yes.
Where do we start? I know you said we start with income.
Yes.
So what's after that? So we've got our income written down. How do we decide what goes in this budget?
Okay. So there's recommended percentages, and there's probably several things that we'll cover. That's a whole different podcast.
We could easily get in the weeds of it. Yeah, we'll say high level.
Very tall weeds on that. Budgeting, of course, you have to know where you can start, which means you have to know what you earn. And then you work down the list of what's most important to take care of your four walls, your home, your family, those kinds of things. So I've got a little bit of an example here that I'm going to kind of run down through. And what we do and what we teach is zero-based budgeting.
Okay.
So we start with our income. Say you've got $2,500 coming in the first part of the month. You get paid twice a month. It's about the same every time. And so we're going to make this kind of easy. So $2,500 is your paycheck that you bring home, not your gross.
Yes.
So
it's an important note.
Yeah, exactly. Because your gross is not what you bring home, because you've got taxes, insurance, retirement, all of those things coming out. So what you bring home is much less than what you actually make. So if you bring home $2,500, charitable giving, tithing, that kind of thing, and we'll get into tithing in just a minute, because there is a question about giving, and that's a very important part of this. Your tithing is going to be like, it's 10%, so it's like $250. So you will take that $250, subtracted from the $2,500 that you bring home, and that leaves you $2,250. And then your mortgage comes due the first of the month. So that is like $1,000 a month. You take that from the $2,250 that you had left from tithes, and that leaves you $1,250. So your water bill is $50, which seems a little high, but nowadays, who knows? That would leave you $1,200 for that pay period. And then you would go to let's see what else might be due that week. Gasoline for your car, maybe $100 a month. So that would leave you $1,100. And you just go down that list of what's due during that time and subtract it all the way down.
Well, and obviously anybody listening could have different numbers, but that does give us a good frame of reference. It does. You start with your income, you look at tithes and giving, you look at what do I need to do to keep the lights on, the water on, that kind of thing.
Right.
That's very helpful.
Yes, definitely. And then when you get down toward the bottom of that, say you've got credit cards that are due or a loan that's due, your car payment's due or whatever, then you start working on those things, which is what's left over from taking care of
your four
the
walls.
home. Yes. The
and then after that, you move into savings?
Yes, you would do that. We teach that you need $1,000 in an emergency fund, a little emergency fund, cash.
Is it the baby steps?
Yes, the baby steps. Yes.
I'll find a link for the baby steps for Dave Ramsey's baby steps program and put it in the show notes just as a resource, people.
Definitely. Because you need to know those, because you need to, if you've got money set back for that little emergency that's going to happen, you can work the debt snowball without much of a problem. And so, so those are the things that you need to think about and keep in the forefront of your mind to keep going further in debt while you're trying to work your way out of it.
Yes.
And I think we're kind of skipping ahead just a little bit.
Well,
but
I do want to talk about how you and your spouse get on the same page with budget and financing. How do you approach this conversation? I think a lot of times in a marriage, you have a saver and a spender, and they somehow find each other and marry each other, and then you got to figure out, how do we do this together?
Right. And one thing about the budgeting process is the fact the different personalities that come along with a marriage.
Well, and we are both working under the assumption that if you're married, you're sharing finances.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
And you should be. If you're not,
important disclaimer there.
Yeah. Well, that gives you a lot of unity as well. You need that unity to work and to be prosperous in your marriage. You can't do it any other way, because
if you're hiding something.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing right there, is transparency and unity in the way that you're going. My husband and I do not communicate the same when it comes to money. I am a free spirit. I like to spend a little bit more. I bring the fun, because I'm also a bit of an otter. And I like to have, life is too short.
See, I'm the opposite. I mean, it is like pulling teeth to get me to spend money on anything. Yeah. I mean, truly, my husband is like, we can buy this. This is a package of gum, like, or whatever. And I'm like, I don't know. Is this going to cripple us? I mean, I am a saver to my core.
Well, and that's an excellent thing, because your retirement's going to be very, very, very good if you manage that correctly and trust God to bring that along as he does.
Well, and that's where so many of it, you got to find yourself in the middle ground and do what the Lord has called you to do.
Exactly.
And follow his leading in that.
Exactly.
Well, keep going with what you're saying.
So my husband is the nerd, as you are the nerd, and he is the saver. Now, you can have a free spirit saver and a nerd spender. But in this case, for us, he is like, I got, we've got this. I want to keep it. Let's, and I'm like, we are going on vacation, and you can stay home if you want to, but I'm going. But he goes with me because, and consequently, with the way things are, in a week and a half, we're leaving for Greece with our pastor, Michael Gossett. So we're so excited about that. And my husband is actually getting excited about that.
Good.
So, there you go.
I'll just spend a little, but it's fine.
So these two different personalities bring a lot to the table when it comes to your finances. And you can work through those things by using a budget that you both agree on.
So that's the key there, is one person doesn't need to go rogue and make a budget. We need to agree on this together.
Right. Now, the nerd can make the budget and a simple budget. It doesn't have to be a spreadsheet 20 columns long or whatever. So a simple budget. And then you go, okay, we need to sit down and talk about this. So you come together, you sit down at the table. He shows the free spirit the budget, which my husband would show me the budget. And he has to be quiet while I look through it and go, if we put a little bit more money in groceries, we can survive.
It's just funny because we're having these same conversations. I'm like, I don't know if we can get that. And my husband's like, we'll be okay.
It'll be okay. We have had many a budget meeting standing in line at the checkout stand at Walmart, checking out groceries, going, okay, does that come out of the grocery budget or does that come out of something else?
Yes.
So
and
then we,
I'm the one that I'm like, let's go to 5 different grocery stores to get the best prices. And my husband's like, this is not realistic.
Yeah. And Robert's mother did that forever. And she kind of still does, but that's how she survived, going through bringing up 3 children in a very difficult economic time in their lives.
Yes.
And that's one thing that you need to look at. The reason that we started doing Financial Peace University is because our parents, both sets of our parents, retired to just poverty. Social Security is not going to take care of you later in life. And so you have to start now preparing for that. And it's difficult, but it's simple, but it's not easy. That's the thing. It's simple, but not easy. And so we decided a long time ago that we want to be able to take care of ourselves, our children be able to do what they want to do and not be saddled with us. And I didn't feel like we were saddled with caring for our parents. My mother-in-law is our only living parent, and we love taking care of her. And so those are the things that you have to plan for that creep up on you.
Which, when you are an 18-year-old heading into graduating high school, going into next steps of college or life or whatever, a lot of times you're not thinking about, okay, what is down the line with this? You know, and I think that's why it's good to have some of these conversations. I do want to speak too, because I know you and I could talk about this probably all day, but we're heading into holiday season. Lots of gift giving, lots of parties and gift exchanges and bringing foods, and even the price of bringing foods to holidays can add up. So as we head into that, how do we prepare our budgets for extra spending? It should start today. But then you can carry it on and have a better holiday season next year. Because you're more prepared. For us, when our kids were little and we weren't educated on budgeting and didn't have a plan and that kind of thing, our Christmas plan was, if you're paid every other week, 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year. I guess 4 times a year, there's a magic month. That you get that extra paycheck. So there's 3 paychecks in that month. So that normally falls November. So that extra paycheck at the end of November was our Christmas fund. And so we had $350 to $400 to spend on everybody, 12 to 15 of us, how many, which grew throughout the year. But the kids, of course, came first. So their Christmas came first and then everybody else's. Well, when we started Dave Ramsey's plan, Financial Peace University, we thought, okay, let's do the math on this. How much do we want to spend at Christmas? How many do we have that we need to spend for? What are we going to spend on each of those? And it came out to $20 every week. If we put that in an envelope, in a drawer, or we now have a little safe in our house. So every week, $20 goes into this envelope for Christmas. 20 times 52 is... a lot of money.
$1,040.
There you go.
So when it comes time for us to go Christmas shopping,
my mom's going to listen to this, and she homeschooled me and is going to be so disappointed I couldn't do that quick math. But you know what? It is what it is. So you got your money in the cash envelope. So
when it comes time to go Christmas shopping, we take that envelope out, and usually it's the first or second weekend, which normally about the second weekend in December. We're late bloomers. We wait. So we take that envelope and our food envelope, and we leave the house on a Saturday morning. We have our list all together. Before this point, we have asked for lists, and we do this. We do Christmas lists in our family, and we give them to everybody.
I'm telling you, it just helps with the stress.
Oh,
just make
my
a list.
Goodness.
It's so much better.
It is. Everybody gets what they want. They get what they want to, what they will use, and sometimes it might be a surprise. Because if you listen throughout the year, you'll pick up on things.
Well, and that's one thing I've started doing throughout the year with the people I know and need to get gifts for. When they mention something, I keep it on a list on my phone. So then when we get to Christmas, if they haven't sent me a list, I have this list of, oh, you mentioned that you wanted that in February and you still don't have it. Let me just, there you go.
Yeah. So, that is the perfect thing. We leave the house, we shop most of the day, we spend all the money, we go to dinner afterwards to celebrate. We are done with Christmas shopping, and we didn't take from the rent money
and from the budget
and from any other part of the budget. It was all together. Now, if you need more, then you put more in an envelope every week. Or if you're paid every week, you double that and you put that in the envelope, and you come out with money that you can spend on Christmas absolutely guilt-free.
Well, and you and Robert decided on that number together. So that's going to look different for every family in different seasons.
Right.
I know one thing that I have started doing is I've got my list of what people want, and I order it all Black Friday.
Oh.
And so, because we know I'm the saver, I hate the thought that I could have saved even $5 on this gift if I had bought it when it was on sale.
Exactly.
So on Black Friday through Cyber Monday, I'm getting all the deals. I'm ordering it to my house, whatever. And then I'm done. Like, my goal is by December 1st, I'm done Christmas shopping.
There you go.
So that I did the sales. But that's what works for me in my brain. So I think some of this too is just feeling it out, talking with your spouse or whoever of this is what's best for our family. I know I've had friends who are pregnant and due around December, January, and they do their Christmas shopping in like August, September so that they don't have to think about it.
Right.
So, everybody, it works. You got to figure out what works for you.
Exactly. And you do. And when grandkids started coming along,
then all your money goes out the window.
Well, it kind of does. And I begged my husband, I wanted an envelope just for the grandkids. And he was resistant for a while. He's like, no, don't need that. I went, okay. So I was spending my spending money on the grandkids. Finally, I won that, and he gave me an envelope. So I have extra money for them at Christmas that I don't spend it all every month. So it just kind of rolls over to the next month, and they get a really good Christmas.
Yeah, they do.
From Annie and Papa. So,
my son's first Christmas was last year, and he was not even a year old at the time. He has no idea what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
And the amount of gifts, he's the first grandchild on my side. And then my brother and his wife, and then my parents, my husband's family, everybody, it was like Christmas overload. And he's like, I don't know what to do with all this stuff. And half of the toys he's just now gotten to start playing with because he understands now.
Yes.
But it's just so funny watching how everyone was so generous. And my mother-in-law texted me the other day of, what pants should he get? You know what? I'm the grandmother. I get to buy them both.
Exactly.
And it's just fun.
Yeah.
But
the only thing I need
to be in that season.
Right. The only thing I need to know is the sizes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And
I love it.
That's the way it goes. So budgeting for those things. So now if you haven't spent the time to, or known how to prepare for that year long, then start now.
Yeah.
If you are in a season that you are in debt or you're between jobs or your income is not what you want it to be, it's low and you're living pretty tight anyway, then things might be, your Christmas gifts might be a handmade craft. To everybody,
and that's okay. And there's no shame in that.
It's not. You can do good quality stuff, and it means more anyway. My husband, one year, when our oldest was little, we were kind of strapped. I was stay-at-home mom. We had one, single income, and saving up to put a good down payment on a home and that kind of thing. My husband got the idea that he was going to make doormats for everybody. Oh. And we had 95% of the materials that we needed. He engraved all of them. Oh, that's awesome. This was about 30 years ago. 2 are still in existence.
Wow.
And they're wood. They were wood. And they had their names on them, the dates they got married, welcome. We just put a lot of different stuff on them. Yes. And everybody loved it.
So how do you communicate that? Like, do you say, hey, we're poor this Christmas, you're just getting low stuff? Or do you just like try to think through thoughtful, sweet, meaningful?
It is none of anybody's business.
There it is. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely none of anybody's business.
That's good.
This came from your heart. And if your family is so hung up on comparing what everybody spent, they can forget getting gifts anyway.
Yeah.
That's just my,
well, and that's
just
really
an aside. I'm so sorry.
I think that's good for people to hear because so often we're worried about what are they going to think
Exactly.
and keeping up with this appearance that we have set. And it's not worth the stress.
It's not. And it's not worth the stress of trying to keep up with everybody and matching what they spend and everything, because then you end up paying for it for the next 3 years and it's not worth it.
That's good.
It is not worth it at all.
Well, as we wrap up today, what encouragement would you offer someone that feels overwhelmed by finances?
Start small. The feeling of being overwhelmed and just not and out of control, the feeling of being overwhelmed comes from being completely out of control of the situation. There are so many things in our lives that we don't have control of. Our finances is not one of those.
That's good.
It is the main thing that we can control. And when we begin to budget, begin to bring those things back under control, begin to pay off that debt and begin to see that freedom that brings us and how fast we can do that when we work a plan, that feeling of being overwhelmed and just covered up by it disappears.
Yeah.
That's where the peace comes from, and having the control of those finances. And that's the one thing that we can control. And when you prepare for little emergencies or even big emergencies, and we can talk later about, preparing for big emergencies and that kind of thing, it takes the stress out of life in general. And that's the whole thing, is having your finances under your control brings that peace and that, the feeling of being overwhelmed leaves.
And it's too what Isaiah talks about in Isaiah 26 talks about, you keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you.
Yes.
And when we get so overwhelmed comparing and what about this and what about this, and there is a point where we can worry ourselves about all these potential things that may or may not happen, where we lose sight of what God has given us. But we have to keep our focus on the Lord and our minds on Him.
Definitely.
And He is going to lead us in the direction. He is going to provide what we need. He is going to take care of us, and He is going to give us the tools like Financial Peace University and conversations like this to be able to do what we need to do. And I love that.
Yeah. And if we're faithful to Him, He's going to be faithful to take care of us as well.
That's good.
And, and living within the boundaries of what He gives us, we are good stewards and good managers. It's not ours anyway. It's all His. And He gives us a portion to manage for Him. And as we show faithfulness, He'll give us more to manage and allow us to blossom in those things. And the main thing is, money is not worth anything until you can give it away. And we love that part of where we are in our lives.
That's good. Yeah. Well, we close every podcast asking our guests, what is something you're learning and what is something you're loving?
The learning thing. Of course, I am in law enforcement education. That's what I have done for almost 20 years now. And I love it. It's great. So I learned, though I'm not law enforcement, I have to learn the new laws that come out every other year, and the ramifications and the applications and that kind of thing. So I have to learn that all the time. And so that's a really cool thing to see, what we can do and what we can't do according to the law. But I'm also a history buff. I love history. History means so much to us today. And, the whole big thing that we went through just a few years ago of the cancel culture, I was like screaming to the top of my lungs, you don't understand. That's important. If we don't learn from those mistakes and those events, we are doomed to do it again. So anything that is history, I can get my hands on.
You love it?
I love it.
Oh, that's fun.
I love it. And a lot of our vacations and stuff are history based because it's, you know, seeing it is very exciting. So what am I loving? I wasn't going to do this. Oh my goodness. I'm loving this time of life.
Yeah.
We are, my husband and I both are, I'm going to tell it, I'm 61 years old. We're nearing retirement, and we have worked so hard to get where we are.
Yeah.
We have grandchildren that are the light of our lives, and we spend so much time loving on them and loving our children and able to do those things and just take the time to do all of that. And just being able to give and to share our knowledge of this and looking forward to doing what we want to do when we retire is it's a great place to be.
That's so
So
good.
those are the things that I'm loving. Besides the fact, first and foremost, that without Jesus, we would not be here doing this.
That's good. What a good reminder. Well, Jeanine, thank you for being here today and sharing a little peek into your financial wisdom with us.
This has been wonderful. Look forward to doing it again.
Thanks. Thanks for listening to the Equip podcast. Be sure to subscribe to be the first to know when a new episode drops. And follow us on social media to stay connected. We're at GABC_women. See you next time.